Hello, my name is Lauren Dunning, and I am taking computer science and software engineering. And today I wanted to show you my Infotech Center 4.0, which is sort of a mock-up of what a car would say on startup. So I did this in GitKraken and PyCharm, and it was my first time coding with Python, and I got about in total 250 lines out of this program, and it can do anything from telling you how much gas is left in your tank, to what your closest gas station is so you can fill up your tank, to what the weather expectations are, should be outside. So, and based on those weather conditions, adjusting your wake up timer and adjusting the miles per hour that your car can go so that you drive in safe conditions. And it has a welcome screen on boot up. It has navigation services where it can ask you where your house is and then tell you where it is. Has cruise control, and it has a radio. So it has a lot of functions. We've been working on this for multiple weeks in my computer science class, and together as a class we completed the welcome screen, the weather, and the gasoline. And then as a team project we expanded and added our own creative twists on it by adding cruise control, navigation, and radio. So this was my first time utilizing GitKraken and GitHub and PyCharm, and it was definitely very intimidating at first. It's not. It's not. It's a learning curve, one would say. So it was interesting for me to get used to these kind of programs and realize that this is what industry uses. So adapting to these new applications has definitely been interesting, and it's been difficult at times and frustrating, but I'm starting to get a grip on it, and yeah, I'm getting used to the GUI setup of GitKraken, PyCharm, and GitHub. So I'll start out by showing you my welcome screen and what it does. So I check it out by double clicking it. I can go to my PyCharm, and our welcome screen will start our program letting drivers know that the Infotech Center is loading. So it prints welcome to Infotech Center, and then it'll sleep and it'll say Infotech Center is loading, and it'll have a dot that repeats and adding one dot each time. And then after that, after it runs for a certain amount of time and sleeps for a certain amount of time, it'll print done. So let me run that so you can see it. Welcome to Infotech Center in blue, and then in purple, Infotech Center is loading, dot, dot, dot. It's going to do that for a certain amount of time, and then it's going to say done. There it is. So that's what my welcome screen does. And then what that looks like in my GitKraken. This is sort of what my commits look like for my yellow welcome screen. You can see those yellow dots there. So this is what the commits for my welcome screen. And then moving on to the gasoline branch, which is a separate branch from the welcome screen. So when I go to PyCharm, you can see that it only has the gasoline stuff, and it doesn't have any of the welcome screen stuff we just went over. So when I run this, it's not gonna include the welcome screen because they're separate branches and separate code. And I later merged them into one branch so that they could function together, but I'll get into that later. So here's my gasoline. I imported random, and from time I imported sleep, and then I defined gas level gauge and set a variable of gas level list equal to empty, low, quarter tank, half tank, 3/4 tank, or full tank. And then for the gas level, it's just a random choice of the gas level list. So any one of these will be randomized and selected for the level of your gas tank. And then here's a variable calling gas level gauge function to store its value. And then I have a list of gas stations. And then the gas station that it selects to be nearby, the closest one to you, is just a random choice of the variable where I stored Shell, Costco, Sam's Club, Buc-ee's, 7-Eleven, Speedway, or Meijer. And then together in gas level alert function, it will combine these two, and if it's less than half a tank, it'll prompt you to go to the nearest gas station. So miles to gas station is set to a number function. Miles to gas station if you have a quarter tank, and this one's for if you have a low. also a random function. And then I have an if-elif statements about if the random level selected is equal to empty, it'll print warning, your tank is empty, calling emergency contact. Or if it randomly selects low, it'll say warning, your gas tank is extremely low, checking Google Maps for the closest gas station. So it's just a repeat of this kind of cycle of whether or not the random choice was empty, low, quarter tank, half a tank, and then depending on whatever it was, it's going to print either, oh, you should go to a gas station, or it's going to print, okay, you're good, you don't have to get any gas right now. Like, your gas tank is at 3/4 of a tank, which is plenty of gas to make it to your destination today, so it'll print the appropriate response for how much gas is left. And so it's all based on random choices, and then I call the function at the end, and you can see how this will work. Your gas tank is a half of a tank full, which is plenty of gas to make it to your destinations today. I can keep rerunning this, and you can see that it'll keep changing. Warning, your tank is empty, calling emergency contact. Your gas tank is at 3/4 of a tank. Your gas tank is full. Extremely low. As you can see, so that is the gasoline branch and its functions. And then here you can see in the pink is the commits that I had for the gasoline branch. Next is the weather branch. I'll check that out and then go to my PyCharm. And I started by importing random, and then I defined weather and put weather forecast as a variable with equal to a string of either snow, blizzard, rain, foggy, windy, icy, or sunshine. And then it randomly selects one of those and returns it as the value of a weather condition for this situation. And then the vehicle response system will respond to what the weather is and then drive appropriately to that. So like if it's snowing, it'll print two print statements saying NWS has changed their alarm by 15 minutes because of the weather forecast of, and then it's going to insert snow. And then it's going to say VRS has been engaged, only allowing your vehicle to go 45 miles per hour, and then it's appropriate for each one respectively. Like blizzard is 35 miles, icy is 25 miles, and then it changes your alarm by different times too. Or if it's rain, it's just going to say please drive carefully, or foggy, it's going to just say please drive carefully, and it won't affect your vehicle's speed. Or if it's sunny, it's going to say drive safely and have a wonderful day. And then I called the function, and just like the gas one, this is just going to be a randomizer. So you can see this one is icy, please drive carefully, and your vehicle's at 25 miles per hour. And I can keep running this, and I will keep getting different examples, foggy, blizzard, stuff like that. So that is the weather. So I also have a dev testing branch, and you might be wondering what that is. The dev testing branch doesn't add any new features to the Infotech Center like the gasoline or the weather does. The dev testing is where I put all of the branches and merging them together to solve any merge issues and to work out the fine tunings of the syntax and things like that. So dev testing is kind of like the sandbox of the program where I tweak things and make sure everything is running smoothly. Main is the opposite. Main branch is where I put the final product where I'm not going to make any adjustments and I'm just going to leave it be. So dev testing is the biggest branch that I have. It's about 250 lines because it's joining all of the branches together, whereas each individual branch, like weather or gasoline, would just be about 30 lines. So dev testing, I'm going to walk you through all of these together and what it looks like smoothly and cohesively tuned. So this is actually my dev testing right now and my main are the exact same because I finished this program. So this is the final product. So this is my dev testing branch. I won't show you the dev testing branch, but I just wanted to explain what the purpose of this branch is. It's a very important branch to have a sandbox where you can make mistakes and it won't affect your final product and you can undo and redo and things like that. So that's the importance of dev testing. So now that I've explained the importance of dev testing, I am going to check out my main branch and I will show you my final product of the Infotech Center 4.1 in the main branch. So here's my main branch, the one that the final product goes into, and this is the branch that would be sent to production and be sent into the cloud for the cars it would be utilized in. So main is where the final product is. So here I have all of those branches. I'm not going to walk through welcome screen or gas level because I already did that. So you can just see that they are here. There's gas level and all of the code I walked through, and here's weather. And in here, they're more fine-tuned than they are in their individual branches. In their individual branches, some of them have a little bit of typos, some spelling errors, things like that. But in dev testing, in main definitely, I like to have things perfectly ironed out. So here, again, you can see the weather. And then here, we're going to go into radio, the one I haven't talked about before. Keegan made this part of my program as a part of a collaborative group project. And so what his radio does is it has 3 different stations, one for pop, rock, and hip-hop respectively, and then it has different about 3 different songs for each station, and it'll ask you by doing a user input if you want to turn on the radio, and then if you say yes, it'll ask you to pick a station 1 through 3, and then it'll randomly choose one of the songs that's stored in the function. Or if you say no to wanting to have the radio on, it'll just say goodbye. And then so that's his part of the project, was this little radio function. Then Lucas's portion was the navigation function, where it boots up, says it's loading, and then asks input what is the address of your house, and you could say anything, and then it returns a random distance, between 1 and 200 miles. And then it'll sleep for a bit, and then it'll say that your house is located at whatever input you put in, and then it'll randomly generate the miles. And then here's the get directions portion of his program, where he put possible maneuvers as left turn, right turn, slight left turn, slight right turn, U-turn, go straight, things like that. And then says that it's generating print statement for generating your directions now, and then it's a function to show direction as a random combination of these different maneuvers he plugged in, and a random combination of different miles to go for each one, like 3 miles straight, or in 100 feet make a U-turn, like things like that. So that was his function, and then he called them here. And then my project was cruise control, where it asked for input if you would like to engage cruise control, yes or no. And then I have this dot lower so that whether the user puts yes in all caps or in all lowercase, it's going to accept it either way. And then I have a bunch of if and else and elif statements. So if you say yes to turning it on, it's going to ask you what speed you like to cruise at, and then if your speed is greater than 75, it won't let you continue, and it's going to say slow down, that's faster than interstate highway speed limits, so try a different speed, and you can run the program again and put a different number. And if it's an acceptable number, one that's lower than 75, it'll print now cruising at that speed. It'll sleep, and then for 4 seconds, and it will ask you to press X to turn off cruise control. So, and then I put an if and an elif for a capital X or a lowercase x, so either one are accepted. And if they do prompt X, it's going to say cruise control has been disabled. But if they don't prompt X, it's going to say cruise control is still active at so-and-so speeds, miles per hour. And then I call the function, and so that's my portion of the function. And so all together, I'm going to run it once. I won't take off, I won't go through every branch of saying no to this program, saying yes to this program, and trying everything, because that would take a long time, but I'm going to do a basic run-through of the Infotech Center. So you can see here, it said welcome to Infotech Center. Infotech Center is loading, done. So that's my welcome screen portion. Your gas tank is full. Yeah, so it didn't give me any directions to go to a gas station because I'm good. My tank happened to be full on that random generator. So that's it for my gas function, you can see there. And then NWS is calling for foggy conditions. Please drive carefully. There's my weather portion. And then it's going to say, do you want to turn on the radio? And it's going to stop there because it's waiting for a prompt. It's not going to run the navigation or cruise control yet. So it's going to wait for that prompt. I'm going to say, yes, I do want to turn on the radio. So after you turn on the radio, it is going to ask you what stations 1 through 3 you would like to listen to, pop, rock, or hip-hop. So for example, I would say hip-hop, and then it'll play a random song from that station, such as XXX by Kendrick Lamar. Next, it'll do the navigation services. It'll load successfully, and then ask the address of your house, and you can say anything at all. I'll say 123 Lane, and then it'll randomly generate a number of miles away. It'll generate your directions, which are just a random combination of right or left turns, or going straight, or doing a U-turn for a certain amount of miles. and then it'll say you have reached your destination. Thank you for using the navigation system. Goodbye. And the last program is cruise control. Would you like to engage it? I say yes. What speed would you like to cruise at? You can say any acceptable number, which is under 75, because over 75 is the speed limit for interstate highways. So anything under 75 is okay. I'll say 60, and it'll say now cruising at 60 miles per hour, and then it'll sleep for 4 seconds and then ask me to press X to turn off cruise control, and then cruise control has been disabled. So that is my entire program, but before I end, I want to show you what GitHub looks like. GitHub is the online version of GitKraken. GitKraken is the version that's on your local computer and that you can access locally, but GitHub is on a web browser. So GitHub would be useful if you are on the go and not at your regular setup. Then you can access your repository and your code from any web browser, and you can edit it too. The only downside is that it does not have an IDE. It does not have an integrated development environment, so you cannot run your code and see an output, unfortunately. But yeah, you can edit it. So that is the benefits of GitHub, and that is the rest of my video. So I've been Lauren Dunning. I hope you enjoyed my video, and I will see you in the next one. Bye bye.